So many people are willing to cheat when it comes to athletic competition. We're talking about steroids, HGH, and other things which are illegal. I had a very good question come through. It's something that I never really thought about. This was on Instagram from somebody. Said, "Yo, Gabriel, can you do a YouTube video on how your experiences are against people you knew and sparred who were on steroids? What was the feeling like compared to when they weren't? Also, how common is the use even in amateur to semi-pro level?" I love it. I love that question because it's something that I never even considered until I became a pro. And then you start going, is this more commonplace than I thought, especially when we start focusing on different regions of the world? Very interesting. Instagram questions. You guys can shoot them over to me anytime you want. I don't always manage to get through them all because there's like an influx constantly every day. I could legitimately sit down for half an hour a day getting back to them, but I did see this one. I did want to jump on it, and hopefully I can get back to you if you shoot me one. In addition, we just passed yesterday 300,000 subscribers on the channel. Thank you so much for your support, everybody. I have a link down below, my Strike Ready defense course. We're dropping $50 off the price. So anybody who has not had a chance to go through this 25 plus videos pre-recorded and then the 3 live calls we did, now you can do it. And you're gonna get some big savings. So jump on that before it's gone. I think we got 5 more days left. 300,000, that's awesome. So talking about steroids, how concerned do you have to be? How noticeable is it when you're sparring against somebody? Well, the very first time that I ever had an experience sparring with somebody where I went, yeah, you're on something. I think it was probably like 16 at the time. My skill level was jumping fast. I could handle most of the grown men in the gym already, and I ended up in front of this dude who probably was about 5'6", 5'7", so noticeable height difference, much shorter than me, and just so wide. I must have been 140 pounds back then, and he was probably around like 250, something like that. His arms were massive. He couldn't even hold them straight down. They were like this. So that was the first time I ever went, whoa, this guy is on something, 100%. And he was a bodybuilder as well in competition. And I sparred with him, and I had the best time. I'm like, man, this is like sparring somebody who is just stuck in sand. And they're trying to punch you, but they just can't. And I went, yes, this is awesome. Obviously, he was not training for that snappy speed. And you can still get that by taking HGH and other, illegal substances. So this guy was not in that position where he was going, oh yeah, I'm going to be a full-time fighter. He had some fights. And at that point I hadn't, but he was so slow. So it was not a concern for me in that moment. I don't think I really dialed in until maybe about 6-7 years ago when somebody I trained with went over to the Netherlands and was doing a decent amount of training there. And they said on the first day, and when they jumped from gym to gym, they were getting offered steroids. It was just commonplace. Like everybody was doing it. He said, I'm one of the few people when I was there who was not participating. And then I went, whoa. So do I need to be concerned about everybody I fight from Europe being on these? And he's like, yeah, probably. And you might think, oh, well, they test like the UFC does. No. I think in the time that I've fought, I've been tested once when I've actually been in the locker room and they pulled people out. I've seen that maybe 3 times where they do a urine test. And the urine test is so odd because they do it moments before you're going to fight. So you still have to go in and fight the guy. So do you know when you're fighting somebody who's on steroids? Because we see people like Michael Chandler who are just big and ripped. Like, oh my gosh, how is this dude doing anything legal? He's got to be on stuff, but not necessarily. I'm sure he is tested heavily. Keep in mind, there are so many things you can do to assist your body's growth in muscle mass and getting those veiny arms. Like off the top of my head, creatine. You could be taking creatine, it's not illegal. So you could be doing that and getting extra jacked from that supplement. So do you know when you're across from somebody and you're fighting them? In my experience, no. I have had a couple fights where I went, oh, this person hits harder than I'm used to, like harder than most of the people by like 10, 20, even 30%. And my power, the shots that I can throw at them does not seem to be affecting the same way. Now, there's always an argument that that person is just naturally gifted. They're so strong in so many ways. But the opponents that I have struggled with in that way have, maybe not ironically, but coincidentally, been from Holland or the Netherlands. So in those moments, did I clue into that? No, it was not really on my radar. When you're in the gym sparring somebody, yeah, you can look across the room and go, wow, that guy is really ripped. But you know off the top of your head, like right away, he's on something? Absolutely not. I've even had people on my channel say, oh, Gabriel, 100% you're on something. Like, are you kidding me? Have you seen me? Yeah, I got some abs and maybe some other muscles, but it's not like I'm walking around ripped with like 30 pounds or more of raw muscle than I have right now. I've never taken anything. And any of those illegal things, I never will, because I want to take care of my health. I don't know if they affect my health negatively after, but why bother? And I want to do everything clean. I want to finish my career and know, yeah, I managed to do this and accomplish those things without having to cheat. It's kind of odd to me to compete and feel good about your accomplishments, knowing that you had an advantage against your opponents. But ultimately, no, you don't know when you're standing across from somebody if they're on something. You could be across from Michael Chandler and be like, 100% he's on something, and maybe he's not, right? Although many people are good at cycling, and there's so many suspect things happening in the fight world and all athletics. But no, you won't know. What can you do if you end up with somebody who's big and strong in front of you? Well, keep in mind that one of the most important things to have is not muscle. It's not looking scary. It's actually having great technique, good defense, and cardio. If you can get those three things down, you're going to be dangerous. And many people are going to struggle. They're going to struggle to compete against you, whether it be in the ring, in competition, or if it's in sparring. And really, I know a lot of gyms do go too hard in sparring. You shouldn't be across from somebody in the gym who has this big muscle advantage over you and feeling like, you know, they're taking advantage of that. It's okay to ask people sometimes, just bear in mind, like, oh, can we lighten up a little bit? Like, you know, you're 180 pounds and I'm 140 and we don't need to be going 100%, just maybe a little lighter. Because gym wars, ring wars, what do you accomplish? Nobody pays you for that. So really, I guess the moral here is you got to have a bit of faith in people at the gym, and no, you don't know who's on stuff and who's not, even in competition. And in terms of amateur or semi-pro, 100% people could be on stuff. Absolutely. Do you know straight up when you're in front of them if they are or if they aren't? No. I'm sure there've been people that I've fought, some of the guys that I kind of rolled through, who maybe went, ooh, is Gabriel on something? But again, strong defense, good cardio, all goes a long darn way. And that's basically what I have. So let's call it there. I don't know if that gave anybody any concrete answers, but my advice would always just be, if you're somebody in the fight game, stay away from that stuff, right? First of all, you don't want to get banned. And second of all, there are so many natural ways to put on muscle. If that's what you're interested in doing, you might be lacking behind everybody else who's doing it. And I've had some people speculate, like, you know, 50% of the Glory and the Bellator and the UFC rosters all doing illegal stuff. I don't know about those numbers being true, but even if they are, I still managed to get my belts behind me. Even if half the people I fought were on things that they shouldn't have been, I still managed to beat them. So it can be done. Let's call it there, guys. Don't forget, 300,000 subs, save $50 on my defense course, link right down there. And I will see you guys back here very soon.